Hello, and hopefully everybody's having a great week. I want to talk to you a little bit about the 6 keys to a winning team, and then I really want to talk a little bit more on that 6 key. But the big thing with the 6 keys is number one, strong leadership. Strong leadership starts from the top down, and the big thing for management is understanding who your leaders are. It's not just your management, but there are key people within your organization that are leaders as well. So know who your leadership is and make sure you're using them to their full potential. The other thing is a common goal. That common goal is what's driving you and doing why you're doing what you're doing. It's your vision, mission, and culture, and it gets everybody on the same page and everybody to work together in unity to achieve the goals that you want. From there, it's the rules of the games. Rules of the games, the best way I can explain it is taking football, for example. You have your high school teams, you have your college teams, and then your pro teams. The game is the same, but at each level, the rules are a little bit different. Their purposes are a little bit different, and the expectations are different. You don't expect a professional football player to play at the same skills as a high school football player. You expect them to play better and more. So understanding the rules of the game, even if somebody's worked with your competitor for a number of years and then they come and join your team, your rules, your culture is different than what they've been with for the last 20 years. So your rules of the games are very important for everybody to understand and what you're doing to achieve. From there is the action plan. If you don't have an action plan, you're not going to be doing much. Everybody's kind of going to be doing their own thing. The common goal is going to be lost, and the unity in the team is going to be gone. So make sure you have an action plan. It's communicated clearly, and everybody's working together to achieve that common goal through the action plan. From there is support risk taking. The biggest thing with support risk taking is if you've hired somebody, give them the ability to do their job. And what I mean by that is that I've seen many times where people have hired a high-end and high-skilled employee, but they are continued micromanage, and they're not giving them the freedom to do what they were hired to do. So give them that freedom to do what they were hired to do. Give them that ability to take the risk and achieve that common goal and succeed through the action plan that was given to them. Allow them to do that. From there, we get into the 6 key and the one that I want to talk about the most, which is 100% inclusion or involvement. And I want to use an example from my previous history with employment for this. A number of years ago, I talked with a gentleman, and I was talking really heavily with all the teams to unite all the departments and get us all flowing in the same way. And through that communication, he came up with, oh, so we're like a sword. And I asked him to explain a little bit. He's like, well, we're at the beginning of production, and so from there, everything follows back on the sword. I said, yeah. He's like, so we're the most important part on the sword. Without us, the sword's no good. And so I started to listen to him a little bit more, and he was really beginning to separate his department from the rest of the team and from the rest of the company. And so I asked him, I said, so you agree that all the departments within this company are all part of the sword? He said, yeah. He said, but the tip of the sword is most important, and without us, it's not going to work. So I looked at him and I said, so if I cut that tip of the sword off and hand it to you, how good is it? What are you going to do with it? Well, not very much. It's not very good. And I said, exactly. Same thing with the rest of the sword. I said, if I cut that tip off and then all I have is the rest of my sword, I said, I'm limiting the company or that sword and what it can do. I said, so it takes that full body from the tip all the way to the hilt of the sword to be complete and to work like it's supposed to. Other examples is a car. I've talked to other people and they're like, oh, so we're like a car. We have our engine, we have our tires, everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. And I said, yeah. And so the big thing with the car is the same thing. Engine's very important, tires are very important. And one might say that without the engine, the car's no good. Yeah, but also without the tires, the car's no good too. Same thing with the doors, safety belts, steering wheel. It takes everything within that car to make that car usable and good and to be able to be at its full potential. So with that 100% involvement and inclusion, understanding that everybody's a part of the key, that if you've had a department, or if you've hired somebody, that they're just as important as anybody else. You've hired them for a reason. You've hired them to achieve that common goal and to be part of that action plan. So make sure everybody's working together for that. Past that, the other big thing within these 6 keys of communication, and I'm going to put these as bonuses, is ongoing training. Ongoing training is important. The world is ever evolving. Competitors are always growing and getting better. And so you need to make sure that you're training your employees, that you guys are continuing to grow in knowledge and wisdom as well. And the last one is communication. Communication, I get a lot of times, well, shouldn't communication be part of the 6 keys? It is. It's in every step. Within every step of communicate, with these 6 keys to a winning team, communication has to be there. If communication's not there, you're not having the 6 keys. So past that, everybody have a beautiful Wednesday and take care. Thanks.